Hello everyone, Perne776 back at it again on another Trees banner. We are faced today with... Hold on a freaking second. Tina freaking spotted, and oh, I love that art.
Nice to meet you.
But also, this means we finally, my friends,
Heading out.
got a freaking Thracia 776 banner. Which is big news. And for those of you who are not aware, this is big freaking news, right? I'm being quiet about this because it is 3 a.m. and I don't want to wake up everyone in the fucking house. But Thracia 776, if you haven't looked at what the name of my freaking channel is, it's a big deal. And we did not get a single Thracia banner in all of 2023, so I've been waiting more than a year for this one to happen. And yeah, we're starting out with Tina, who love the art. It's got a very sort of old feeling to it. Not old as in like old, but as in like it kind of has the spirit of the classic Fire Emblem games' art without like the kind of art they had in the manuals for books. But it feels modern as well in a Fire Emblem Heroes-y way. As you probably expected, Tina is a infantry staff unit, armed with one of Thracia's most iconic staves, the Thief Staff. Foe cannot counterattack. Accelerate special cooldown count -1. Since it's a staff, it can't go below 1. At start of turn, grants the bonus effects active on the foe with the most bonus effects active, excluding stat bonuses, to units and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn, and neutralizes bonus effects active on that foe, excluding bonuses granted at the start of the same turn. It's literally a thief staff. I love it. Especially in the current Prime meta as well, being able to pick the enemy who has the most bonuses and go, yoink, your bonuses are our bonuses, and you don't get those bonuses anymore. That is frankly incredible, especially considering that in an Aether Raids kind of situation, removing bonus effects from a foe is not something that's currently really possible. It might be on like a Joe skill somewhere, possibly, but it definitely is not on any like Staff Turn effect, any activated effect. So as long as hindrances are staying up, that is not happening unless you've got Tina. And the other thing she does is, just like Citrine, not only does she steal the bonuses, she spreads them around. So there's been a lot of bonus stacking meta recently. Applying your buffs as bonuses is way better than applying them as drives in most cases, because it means they are not affected by feuds, and you don't have to have quite so strict positioning on the turn that you actually tank. Well, what if we stole them? So yeah, gonna shut down, or at least force people to change a lot of omni-tanking strategies if you rely on this unit. I also wonder how it works if multiple foes have the same amount of bonuses. It doesn't say that it doesn't work, which some weapons would, so potentially it steals bonuses from all of them? Interesting to think about. We'll have to do some testing on that. Anyway, the weapon's not done yet. Inflicts -4 to all stats on foes within 3 columns or 3 rows centered on unit during combat. And at the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, it grants +6 attack and speed to unit during combat and deals damage equal to number of bonus effects active on unit, excluding stat bonuses, ×5, max 20. Oh, come on. Come on, you gave Legendary Camilla uncapped pre-combat damage, or start of combat damage rather. Why can't you give it to Tina, huh? Why can't I steal 10 bonuses and deal 50 damage to whoever I initiate combat against? Do you hate me, Fire Emblem Heroes? Do you hate making a Thracia unit as busted as they could possibly be? Well, you know what? This is still an absolutely ridiculous weapon. It is a unique effect as well. You're not getting this anywhere else, so I am very satisfied here. Also in the kit, Nudge is a decent healing assist. Not my favourite one. I think Return Plus and the drawback one of Return Plus are kind of preferred, but still not an awful healing assist by any stretch of the imagination. Holy Pressure in the special. We've already got a flash effect on the weapon, so going to be relatively easy to get a special off against most units, I should hope. This one is effectively a Fancy Luna, remember? So Fancy Luna applies gravity as well. Very nice damaging special. I'm expecting to see a second page. Behold the second page, and here we have attack speed ideal for. If bonus is active on unit, well, so long as an enemy has some amount of bonuses, bonus should be active on unit, right? Regardless of what's going on your own team, you can just steal them. So that's a pretty solid slot. Obviously, staff units have very restricted A slots. In the B slot, something new. Wrathful Tempo. Calculates damage from staff like other weapons, inflicts speed res -4 on foe, and neutralizes effects that grant special cooldown charge plus X to foe, or inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. It is literally Wrathful Staff plus Tempo. Speed res tempo, to be precise. Well, I can't complain. That's a good skill, and a pretty useful skill for people who maybe did not need the... Was it extra damage from the other tier 4 Wrathful, if I remember correctly? It's nice to have variety in any case, and in the C slot, Infantry Pulse 4, which we've seen before. I don't know... 44 HP it looks like she's got, so pretty decent base HP to work from. And between the Infantry Pulse 4 and the Slaying in the weapon, you've got Holy Pressure down to 1 at start of combat. Built-in tempo means that you are always going to Holy Pressure on your unit's second attack. Pretty dang happy with how that is looking, I'm gonna say. Tina, definitely a unique unit. Now, the way the timing on it works, I'm not entirely sure if she's going to work on Summoner's Jewels so well, but if you're trying to just crack open tanks on the enemy team who have been totally buffed up, then this is a unit I'm really excited to experiment with on Aether raids. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering where my reaction to the last banner went, that's on DTM's channel. I'll put a link to that somewhere around here. Look forward to it. Tina kind of pink and sparkly, spirally attack there. You can see Holy Pressure kicking in. Safy is next. Well, I'm a Thracia person, I know my Thracias. Another staff unit. We've got 2 staffs on this banner. Going to be an interesting pulling experience, I dare say. And it looks like she's bringing with her another one of Thracia's iconic staves. Technically, they're not only in Thracia, but Thracia is the game where you get the most silliness out of them. So I think of them as Thracia staffs. It's for repair stuff. Love this one. Calculates damage from stuff like other weapons. Accelerates special trigger, cooldown count -1. Max cannot go below 1, of course. At start of turn, neutralizes any penalty on unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit, and restores 20 HP to those units. Every turn, we finally have a unit who can both odd recovery and even recovery at the same damn time. Grants attack speed defense res +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants +5 to all stats to unit, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So, yes, Safy is our double recovery stick. I mean, that's a really solid thing to have, especially in the age of Freya. This is basically a stand-in for Freya in most scenarios. If you've gotten used to using Freya, well, now you can get used to using Freya in modes where you don't have Freya on your defense team or on whatever other team you're using. Now, to be fair, it doesn't work exactly like Freya because this only applies at the start of your turn. Freya can prevent penalties being applied at the start of opponent's turn as well, but this does still trigger on every single one of your turns. The supportive effect in terms of combat stats is 2 spaces, so it's going to be a little harder to apply than Tina's, but this is still a solid weapon. I don't think this weapon is going to be quite as impactful as Tina, honestly, because again, this is something you've theoretically been able to do already, right, using recovery skills, but it's just condensing all that down into one weapon, so it's a little more space efficient. She does have Return Plus, which is one of my favourite of the movement and healing assists. She of course has Holy Panic, the other damaging staff special. This one's a funny moonbow that also applies Panic. Neat, right? In the A slot we have Still Water 4 for extra attack and res. And the reason she's running Still Water is for this C slot, attack speed Ploy 3. We've had Ploy 3s in the game before, but this is the first attack speed Ploy 3, and if she's got a high res stat, which it looks like she's going to have a high res stat, yeah, she's going to be a handy little supportive unit who can also act as a Ploy stick. Handy. Well, let's see some animations. Yes, we know what she does. I just explained it to everyone.
Repent.
Oh, I like that line as well. Okay, the special animation of the repair staff is quite very funny. Oh, and we're getting a dancer by the looks of it as well. Lara is here, a red dagger infantry unit. Yep, that's a 4-star, alright. The weapon, Clever Dagger Plus. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed plus 5 during combat, and reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. There are better daggers. I'm sorry, but there are better inheritable daggers. I don't really see anyone using this unless they've run out of better inheritable daggers to use. But it's cute, I guess. She does have dance, which means that she will never be an awful unit, because at very worst, a dancer is 1 extra action for the best unit on your team. In the B slot, she has Rock Slide Dance 2, which is not a skill that anyone really uses, but it is a nice little step up if you want to inherit Rock Slide Dance 3, which is actually a pretty neat skill. And in the C slot, Attack Smoke 3, which again is not a skill that anyone uses these days, but Attack Smoke 4 does exist. So, you know, maybe we can work something out here. Not really a unit you are going to want to pull for unless you really like Lara for whatever reason, but at the very least, this is a very solid addition into the 3-star, 4-star pool in terms of giving you more fodder options to step up to those more expensive tier 4 skills that you might want to be inheriting onto people. And yeah, she is a dancer. Dancers are never useless. Yes. Even the little explainer there can't really hype her up particularly well. It's like, yes, it raises ally speed and defense. And the last unit on the banner is a Rearmed unit Who's it gonna be? The Reinhardt, the main character of Thracia 776, and he has his iconic type line back. Blue Tome Cavalry, just like the original Reinhardt, the terror of early Fire Emblem Heroes, one of the units with the longest meta relevance of all time, just because being a brave tome was really, really good once inheritable skills were added to the game. And he's back. He's back. What is his deal this time? Well, he's got Arcane Thunder. This is an arcane weapon, of course. Accelerates special trigger. Cooling out -1 at the start of combat. Unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%. Grants +5 to all stats. Grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack. And also, if unit speed is greater than foe's speed, it grants full null follow-up. Okay, so slaying, +5, special acceleration, NFU. It's a pretty neat little mixed bag of things a unit might want, honestly. I can definitely see this working. That being said, at the same time, it is not really providing anything particularly ridiculous here, especially as Moonbow. In the A slot, we have Thunder's Fist. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants +7 to all stats to unit during combat, and deals damage equal to 15% of unit's attack, excluding area of effect specials, and also, if unit initiates combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 50% during combat, and if number of spaces from unit's start position to end position is greater than or equal to 2, unit attacks twice. There is the brave effect we expected from a Reinhardt. Glad to see that he's still got it. So, yeah, he's quadding, and he's got 15% of unit's attack as damage, and he's just getting a nice little stat buff. 50% damage reduction should keep him alive against any unit that can't pierce that, although I don't know how tanky he's going to be against units that can pierce that. The combination of a brave effect, a slaying weapon, and special acceleration in the weapon means he should be able to reliably charge up specials against most foes. Yeah, seems like a decent combo, but it's going to need some support to reach its full potential. This is not a perfectly kitted out unit just yet. He's going to struggle base kit against a lot of the top end tanks unless you've got something like Legendary Camilla support or something similar to let him start really shredding through things. Again, the way this looks, and given that he's an arcane unit, I'm expecting, there we go, a second page. B-slot speed res far trace 4. Tier 4 trace skills have entered the game. Enables Canto Rem Min 1. Inflicts speed res -4 on foe during combat, and unit deals +7 damage, including when dealing damage with a special triggered before combat. So okay, he's getting 15% of his attack and an extra +7. Interestingly, this one applies to pre-combat specials, whereas the previous one doesn't. Not quite sure why that is the way that it is, but I'm not complaining. And the other change when upgrading from a Trace 3 to a Trace 4 is that the Rem is now minimum 1. So if you have no space of movement remaining, you're still going to get to Canto 1 unless Canto control is involved, in which case no Canto for you. But I mean, Canto 1 is pretty dang solid if you're using the full extent of your movement to attack, as a lot of turn 1 situations would have you do. That Canto 1 makes it a lot easier to get back out again than the Canto 0 you'd normally have from a regular far trace at that range. And again, with quadding and with that +7, he is going to deal a lot of damage against any foe who stands against him. In the C slot, we have defense, res, smoke, free, which is probably my favorite of the smoke frees, just because Pathfinder is really handy for enabling allies to follow up through your space. And again, paired with Canto, he can Canto back one space to Pathfinder open a route to the same space that he just attacked from. All in all, I think this is a solid unit. It's not a meta-breaking unit, but he's neat, and he's got some very neat fodder as well. Being the first source of Thracia 4 is going to be very handy for people who want that. He's got, of course, the Arcane Blue Tome, which is not a ridiculous blue tome by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you'll be able to get some good mileage out of this. It's another one of those sorts of arcane units that are designed to be okay no matter who you put it on, but not really ridiculous on anyone, right? And of course, as an arcane unit, you are always going to be able to do the classic skill duplication trick on this guy, which I'm very much looking forward to. Alright, again, let's take a look at some thunderous Reinhardt animations. Also helps allies position, yeah, that's one way of putting it. And yeah, he is blasting with his thunder. Magic is back to being everything again, fellas. And there's the Pathfinder. Okay, Kreisfelder, Ratatoska, Safy, Reinhardt. Let's see, do we have a... No, we do not, so I'm going to have to check the Twitter for that. Give me a moment. And... okay, yeah, it looks like from the Twitter post, the Grand Hero Battle unit is Perne. That's going to be interesting. I wonder what they're going to give him. I mean, obviously he's a Thracia unit, so there's potential that they just give him pointless inheritable nonsense, but I'm hoping they'll be a bit nicer to me than that, given that I have waited a whole damn year for this. Banner-wise, well, Colourless is very interesting. Both of these units are neat. I think there's a real winner on this banner in terms of metagame, which is Tina, but Reinhardt I would also consider worth picking up because he has very real fodder. And, I mean, he's just nice, right? He's just a good unit. Again, not an insane unit, not a meta-breaking unit, but we all love Reinhardt here, right? Red, I wouldn't pull on. Green, there isn't even a green unit on this banner. Listen, I personally have to get a copy of Tina, so I am pulling on this banner. There's no two ways about it, but let me know what you think. Are you going to be grabbing these things? What do you think of the first Thracia banner for over a year? And, well, thanks everyone for showing up. Likes, subscriptions, greatly appreciated. We're pushing to 1,000 now. We passed 850 recently. See you all in the next one. Penrust out.